Hi, welcome. Good evening. We're going to get started in just a second. I'm going to see if anybody else pops on real quick and then we'll get started. Welcome. Hi. We're going to get started in just a second. All right. All right. Hi, good evening. I'm Alicia Gibson, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Somebody else just popped off, but we'll see if they pop back on. But I'm figuring it's a college class. It's 1:20. There's probably not as many parents popping in as normal. And like when we were on campus, I would have no parents come. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. It's a little easier from the computer and not having to drive to school. So again, my name is Alicia Gibson, and this is for English 120. Oh, they had no sound. That's why they popped off. So maybe they're popping back on. I wanted to, I'm just going to kind of go over our class Canvas page and our syllabus and chat about that a little bit. Being that it's a 120 English class for the college, we're trying to get the kids to think like college class wise and being in charge of their own education and all of that good stuff. So a little more geared towards things that they'll be needing to do and think about and how they would function in a college setting versus a high school setting. So we're gonna kind of go through that. And I just wanted to quickly go over where am I at? Here we go. I'm just gonna share my screen, quickly just show you kind of what we're doing, what to look for, and all that good stuff. The kids do know that since it is the Grossmont College focused class, there are some specific different things that are different from Helix. One, that they, like I mentioned, are in charge of their education. So as far as like discussing grades and all of those things with parents, it's more about them and less about the parents taking action, which is interesting. And so they're still working on that and still working on being able to communicate too. So that's definitely something that we've been trying to focus on. And also some differences with the English 120. It is so great because they're getting their junior English credit or their senior English credit and then also the college credit, which is awesome, without having to take an AP test, which is great too. But we run like the college. So if you look at our Canvas page, which you should have access to, it has all of my info here. But a few key things to note. I will pull up the syllabus in a second, but just down at the bottom, our late policy, we do not accept in this class any late work. So that has been, I was very lenient the first couple of weeks. I'm like, I don't know, we're figuring this out, kids. It will be fine. But they're starting to like, oh, what? That was real. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not. There's no late work. So we just need to turn our stuff in on time. And we are on the Grossmont grading scale. So there are RDs which at Helix there's not. So should something happen and be weird, they would get a D at Grossmont, and not pass the class at Helix. So it's kind of an interesting, it's a little bit different grading scale because we're using the Grossmont College scale as well. So a couple things to note, and when you're looking at your students' work and whatever else, we're not turning in things late, and we're making sure that we're staying, the grades are staying up, because they're that D, whatever. All the kids are like, D's get degrees. And well, no, they don't. No, we're not going to get D's. That's not a thing. So we are on the Grossmont College grading policy for that. I wanted to just pull up, the kids can always look at, any previous class meetings. If they missed it, they're listed here. Grossmont College dates, if they needed to, apply for a pass, no pass, or needed to do anything there, are listed as well. And then we do have a link to our syllabus on here. It goes over all the things, but I did, just like I wanted to say, point out a few little key things about this class. This class is going to be focused on social justice issues. So we're going through different current contemporary issues that we are all dealing with in the United States, in the world, for them to focus on. So we're going to be bringing up lots of different articles, lots of different things, and looking at both sides or the whole conversation in general, and then that will boil down to their papers that they're writing. Currently, we're talking about educational justice and the inequalities with different, schools and different socioeconomic, locations, and how that all kind of plays in what type of education is being provided. And then they're going to be writing their first paper coming up next week based on that. These are kind of the outcomes of what this class is going to focus on. We're really focused on author's arguments. So we won't be looking at any nonfiction texts. Everything will be articles, excerpts from novels. Everything is nonfiction based in here. And we are focusing a lot not on student opinion, like not them making their own opinion about specific things we're discussing, but how the authors bring in their opinions, how they formulate their argument. A big thing we're focusing on is being a critical thinker, thinking through like what the argument is in a text, how the author is wanting us to, what are they trying to get us to do, feel, or think. So really helping the kids think about what is coming at them, like what's in the media, what's in advertisements, what are these articles that are out there, and not just buying everything that's being thrown at them. Critically looking at what is the argument, who's behind it, who is this person, what are their credentials, what kind of a, impact are they making? Like, are they somebody credible to listen to? So really thinking through those arguments. The rhetoric is the big focus, the rhetorical arguments that the authors are making, and looking at those things. So they'll be analyzing different articles and the author's arguments. They will be synthesizing the different sources, and then really learning how to construct a logically developed essay that brings in multiple viewpoints, and can synthesize and see how all these different articles and these different people, how they all fit together and how they all work together to see like a bigger piece, a bigger conversation. So that's a big chunk of what we'll be focusing on in this class. They do only have 3 formal papers. The formal papers do make up 65% of their grade. Because it's college, it's one-shot deal. So there's no revisions on their essays. You do it and you get what you get. So we will be working in class on making sure that, all the pieces are in place, going through slowly, building their essay together, lots of peer reviews, so that when they turn in their essay, it is like the best quality of work. But that is different than other English classes at Helix or high school classes, because there is that kind of safety net of you're able to revise. In this class, you're not. That's it. And it makes up such a huge chunk of their grade that we spend a lot of time on it, but it is just, very important that they're focused, they're turning in things on time and working on that. independent work, which is homework since everything's independent now, since they're all doing it at home, 15% of their grade, and then class participation is 10% of their grade. There is a common final that every 120 English class, even at Grossmont, online classes, anywhere, any 120 class, we all have a common final that those scores get reported to the college. And then we kind of, make sure that everybody's getting an equitable educational experience, regardless of if they're at Helix or at Grossmont or, all online doing work on their own, that everything kind of meshes together. We are, they did have one textbook, which I know that they all have. They've gotten that, which is great, just kind of working on writing structure and how to be a better writer. And then if we scroll down, which the link, like I said, is on our Canvas page, we do have the outline of week by week, what to expect all the way through the end of the term. It's a culminating class, so there won't be a progress report. There won't be a report card that comes out for this class at spring break. It's all 20 weeks, like a college course, all 20 weeks. So all the scores are cumulative and grouped together to make their one big end grade at the very end of class right before summertime. And so you could look through if you wanted to scroll through and see what types of texts we're reading. They're listed out. And this is a pretty good, it's pretty up to date as to what to expect each week in this class and what we'll be focusing on, which social justice issue we'll be working on. So like I mentioned, we're currently speaking about educational justice. Then we're going to move into environmental justice, and criminal justice is where we're going to kind of end and what that looks like with our criminal justice system in the United States. And that will be what their final paper focuses on as well. So that's kind of our class in a nutshell. My contact info is at the top. I am available all the time. Email is the best. If you have questions or if your student has questions, they can always email me and I'll reply pretty darn quick about that. And I'm sure that, I will have to, honestly, my 120 classes are the best because the kids, even though it's like 8:30 in the morning class, they're there and they're like on point and ready to go. It's really, really nice. So I haven't had, as far as like, oh, when's the Zoom and blah, blah, blah. We do have class every Monday, Wednesday, and we'll talk about all the things. And then Tuesday, Thursday are tutorials. If they need help or whatever, if you hear them having issues or problems, they can pop into tutorial anytime as well. And we can, talk about things or work on whatever they might need to work on. The agenda is always on the front page too, what is expected for that week and what is due and when, just if you wanted to keep on top of any of those things too. I have a junior in high school, so I totally understand like, hey, what's happening right now? And you need to, and wanting him to stay. Yeah, I'm like, I need to know a little bit about what's going on and how you're organizing your time for sure, because it doesn't look like he's very organized. So I totally understand from a parent viewpoint as well. So that's kind of our class in a nutshell, a little quick overview. And, I'm available for any questions or anything at any time. If you wanted to contact me, that is definitely okay. Are there any questions right now that I can answer or any clarifications? No? Okay. Well, awesome. Well, I'm so glad you popped on and that I wasn't sitting here by myself because I was kind of thinking that I would be. So thank you for spending some time with us. And I really look forward to having a great semester this time. It's going to be fun. The classes we're already having a really good time. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.